chapter 21, the chapter of the prophets, containing 112 verses written at Mecca. In the name of God, gracious and merciful, the day approacheth, wherein the people shall render an account of their actions, but they consider it not, and depart from the commandments of God. If they hear them, they laugh. They understand them not, and keep secret their evil intentions. Is not Muhammad a man like to you? Will you say that he is a magician? Ye see the contrary. God heareth whatsoever is spoken both in heaven and in earth, and knoweth all things. They say, certainly Muhammad hath dreamed what he speaketh. He hath invented it. He is a poet. We will not believe him unless he shows some miracle, as did the prophets that were before him. We have laid waste many cities because their inhabitants were incredulous. We sent before thee but men who were inspired of us. Inquire of them, to whom heretofore was given the knowledge of the written law, if ye know it not. They were men that did eat and drink, and were mortal. We effected what we promised to them. We preserved them with such as believed, and destroyed the incredulous. We have sent you a book to instruct you. Will ye understand it? How many misbelieving cities have we made desolate? How many new people have we established in their place? When they felt our punishment, they fled. Fly not, and return to what hath delighted you. Return into your houses. Peradventure ye will yet covet the riches of the earth. They said, misery is upon us. We are to blame. Thus did they talk until they were destroyed. We have not created heaven and earth, and whatsoever is between them, to sport with. Had it been our will that they should have scoffed on earth, they should scoff likewise in heaven. On the contrary, I oppose the truth to falsehood, to confound it. And in effect, it doth confound it. Misery shall be upon you because of your blasphemies. Whatsoever is in heaven and earth is God's. The unfallen angels are not ashamed to worship him. They praise him day and night and exalt his glory without blasphemy. The misbelievers worship what they consider to be gods made of earth. Have they power to create anything? Were there in heaven and on earth another God, and they would not accord praise be to God, Lord of the universe? What the misbelievers relate is untrue. He acteth no counsel when he will do anything, as do men. Will they worship any other God but him? Say unto them, produce your arguments. Behold, what we have to speak unto you. Behold our reasons and those of our predecessors. Certainly the greatest part of them are ignorant of the truth and go astray. We aspired unto all the prophets which we sent, that there was but one God that ought to be worshipped. They said, believe ye that the angels are the sons of God? Praise be to God. On the contrary, they are his creatures. He loveth them. They speak not, but after him, and obey what he commandeth them, and knoweth all their actions, past and future, and they pray for no man but through his permission, and fear to displease him. Who among them shall say, I am God, instead of God? He shall be cast headlong into the fire of hell. And thus do I entreat the unbelievers. Know they not that the heavens and the earth were shut up? We opened them and gave life to everything through the rain which made descend. Will they not believe in my unity? We created the mountains to hinder the earth to move. We made therein waves large and spacious for our creatures. We covered it with the heaven and have exempted it from falling. Nevertheless, they despise our commandments. It is The Lord who created the day and night, the moon and the sun, all things praise and exalt him in heaven. We created no person to dwell forever on earth. All men shall taste of death. I will prove you with good and evil, and ye shall appear before me to give account of your actions. The misbelievers scoff at you when they see you and say, behold them that deride our gods. Know what they consider to be there. They obey not the commandments of God. He created man of dust, and shall show you the effects of his omnipotency. Be not impatient to see the punishment of the wicked who say, when shall be the way of judgment? Did they know it, they would remove the fire from their backs and visages, and that day shall surprise them, it shall astonish them. When they think least of it, they cannot retard it, and shall be deprived of protection. Certainly, they scorned the prophets that were sent before thee, but they were punished after their demerits. Say unto them, who but the merciful God preserveth you day and night? Nevertheless, ye reject his commandments. Have they another God but me, that is able to save them? Their gods cannot defend themselves, because they're not really gods at all. I will not protect them, yet will I enrich them as I enriched their fathers, and will prolong their life, to punish them on earth. Know they not that their estates diminish on all sides through thy conquest? Is it so that they are victorious? Say unto them, I preach to you what God hath inspired into me, but the deaf hear not when they are exhorted. When they are a little touched with the chastisements of God, and they say, oh, misery, we are to blame and are unjust, I will weigh their works at the day of judgment, that I may do injustice to no person. Of the weight of a grain of mustard seed, and will most exactly account we gave to Moses and Aaron the book of that distinguisheth good from evil, and commanded them to preach our commandments to them that had our fear before their eyes. And that book is blessed and was sent from us. Nevertheless, misbelievers reject and condemn it. We heretofore instructed Abraham in the right way, and knew that he was a righteous man. Remember thou that he said to his fathers and his people, what idols, partners, do ye adore? And they said, we find that our fathers adored them. He said unto them, your fathers and you were exceedingly erroneous. And they said, dost thou speak the truth? Or dost thou jest? He said, certainly your Lord is the Lord of heaven and earth. I swear to you that he created them. Having convinced those misassociators, he said, by God, I will make war upon your idols. He broke them with a hatchet in their absence, except the greatest idol on which he hung his hatchet, and said, peradventure they will accuse him to have broken the other. Seeing at their return their idols broken, they said, who hath in this manner handled our gods? He is impious. We heard it is a young man named Abraham, who derideth them. Bring him before the eyes of the people, perhaps they shall find witness of his action. They said unto him, O Abraham, it is thou that hast so abused what we consider to be our gods. He said, on the contrary, it is that great idol. They inquired of each other if those idols spake, and if they had said to the people, ye are to blame to adore those idols. He threw them headlong against the ground, and they said, O Abraham, thou well knewest that they spake not at all. He answered, why therefore do ye worship what can neither benefit nor hurt you? You defile yourselves in adoring them instead of God. Do ye not know him? Then they said, burn Abraham, and let us defend our gods, if ye are righteous men. But we commanded the fire to lose its heat, to preserve Abraham. They would have tormented him, and we destroyed them. We saved him, as we preserved Lot. We conducted him into the land of blessing. We gave him Isaac and Jacob, and the children of their children were righteous men and true believers to instruct the people in the way of salvation. We inspired them to do good works, to pray at the time appointed, to pay tithes, and to worship us. We gave to Lot prudence and knowledge, and delivered him from the inhabitants of this city, who were the most vicious upon earth. We were gracious to him because he was righteous. Remember Noah, and that he heretofore invoked us. We heard his prayer and delivered him from great danger, and all that were with him in the ark. We delivered him from the hand of the wicked, whom we drowned. Remember David and Solomon, who rendered justice in the field, whereunto the flocks of the village entered by night without shepherds. We are witnesses. We are witness of their judgments. We instructed Solomon in justice. We gave him prudence and knowledge. The mountains adored us with David, and with him the birds praised us. We were with them, and they praised us. We taught you the manner of sowing seed, to preserve you from necessity. Peradventure, ye will be thankful to me. We commanded the winds to obey Solomon, and know all that he did. The devils obeyed him, and they dived into the sea to fish for gems for him, and traveled also in other matters, and we hindered them to act mischief against men. Remember Job, who prayed to his Lord and said, I'm in exceeding great affliction, and thou art the merciful of the merciful. We heard him and delivered him from his affliction, gave to him our grace and to his family, and to them that were with him, who had patience and trusted in me. Remember Ishmael, Enoch, Delcaphel, Ezekiel, Buddha, and Zechariah. They persevered in well-doing. We gave them our grace because they were righteous. Remember Jonas, who forsook his people in displeasure. He believed I could do nothing against him, but he cried in the dark and said, there is no God besides thee. Praise be thy name. I am to blame for having offended thee. We heard him and delivered him from his disaster. And thus do I protect true believers when they invoke me. Remember Zechariah, who made his prayer and said, Lord, I know there is no better heir in the world than thyself, yet let me not die without issue. We heard his request and gave him a son named John, and rendered his wife fruitful. All these prophets went on with alacrity to do well, and invoked us with humility, with desire to obtain our grace, and with fear of the torments of hell. Remember Mary, whose womb I blessed. We inspired into her our spirit, and gave her a son, a miracle in the world. Your law is one only law, and I'm one only God. Worship me, and be not envious. Ye all shall appear before me to be judged. I will protect the true believers that shall have done good works, and will write what they shall do for their reward. Misery is upon the cities that we have ruined. Their inhabitants shall not return into the world until the passage be opened to Phagog and Magog, and they come running from the eminent places of the earth. Then shall the day of judgment approach, the promised truth shall not be far off. It shall trouble the fight of the wicked, the sight of the wicked, who shall say, oh misery, we are miserable. We did not foresee this disaster. We have been exceedingly to blame for having offended God. It shall be said unto them, ye worshipped instead of God the firebrands of hell, into which ye shall be cast headlong. Had your idols been gods as ye believed, they should have not entered hell. They and those that have adorned them shall be eternally damned. They shall groan, complain, and shall not be heard. Such as shall be in paradise shall be far remote from them. They shall not hear their howlings. They shall enjoy eternally what they shall desire. The cries of the damned shall not afflict them. The angels, like pigs, shall meet them when they come out of their graves, and shall say, behold, now in the day that was foretold you in the world, a day wherein we will open the heavens and the book of the account of men, all humanity, as we promised to your predecessors, we exactly perform what we promise. We have written in the actual scripture behind and represented by what they call the Old Testament, and afterwards in Al-Quran, that the righteous shall inherit the earth. And this book shall teach the way to paradise to them that shall worship me. We had not sent thee but in favor of men. Say unto them, God hath always inspired unto me that your God is one God. Will ye not obey him? If they go astray, I have taught you how they must be entreated. Say unto them, I know not whether the punishment denounced to you shall be speedy or tardy. God knoweth what is known and unknown in the world. I know not whether he will try you or defer his punishment until the time appointed. He is a most just judge and most merciful. He is not such as ye speak him. And the Quran doesn't actually talk about blasphemy anywhere near as much as the translation makes it sound like. So differing, yes, there's a time when differing is wrong, but it's not the same as blasphemy. But this is, again, the English way of speaking. So there's that issue too. And certainly there were national or local laws of spiritual guidance that the peoples had to follow. But there's this unity of the law of God. It isn't something that you could just have no idea until it comes. You know, let's run like the tumble here.